I was in college for a really long time, maybe too long. I took a lot of classes, and I used to tell my friends that I was going to be a professional college student. I would just take college classes for the rest of my life. And the more classes you take, the better you get. The better you get at test taking, the better you get at studying, and eventually you feel like you're a college professional student. This video is about mistakes. The three biggest mistakes that college students make. And these are mistakes that I've seen in my own students as a teacher. These are mistakes that students do over and over and over again, and I see it semester after semester. And I would be lying if I told you that there's an easy solution for curing these mistakes. At the end of the video, I'll try to give you some tips that you can follow to try to overcome these mistakes, because chances are you are making some of these mistakes because they are very common. I see them every single semester. One of the biggest mistakes that college students make is taking too many classes. If you take too many classes, you are not going to do as well. It's just a fact, okay? There's only so much time in a day, and if you have other responsibilities, it makes it much harder. As a general rule, I think maybe 3 hard classes per semester is a good upper limit. So when I say hard classes, I mean classes that are going to require a lot of your time. So for example, if you're taking a math class, I would consider a calculus class as a serious class, or an abstract algebra class as a serious class. Physics could be considered, a serious class. The maths and the sciences, those are pretty hardcore. Same thing with engineering. Classes that consume a lot of time. Anatomy, anything that's considered difficult. And it varies by subject, so you know what those hard classes are. If your friends are saying, hey, that's a hard class, if the teachers are saying, hey, that's a hard class, consider it a hard class. Try to limit yourself to maybe 3 per semester. The problem with this advice is if you're on financial aid, at least in the United States, you need more credits in order to get full financial aid. And that's where it gets a little bit tricky. Another problem people have with taking my advice and not taking so many classes is that people feel like it's too late. Remember, it's not too late. If you're 22, 23, 24, 25, even 30 or older, it's never too late to go to school. You're not going to fall behind in your life because you're taking a couple extra semesters to finish your degree. Life is not a race, it's a journey, and education should be part of that journey. So slow down, right? It's okay to take it a little bit slower. It really is, and that'll help you in the long run. You'll get better grades if you take less classes, and you'll be able to absorb the material in a much better way. My best semesters were the ones where I took 3 to 4 classes, and I just really focused hard on those classes, and I did my best to get an A in those classes. Most of the time I was able to get an A, but whenever I upped the limit to 4 or 5 serious classes, that's where it got really difficult, and that's where I had to start cutting back on some classes and sacrificing some grades here and there. So try not to take too many classes if you can help it. Honestly, less is better. It gives you more time to enjoy your life too, right? College is also about making friends, having fun. I mean, it's a good experience and you want to make it a good experience. So don't overdo it. Try to keep your classes to a minimum so you can learn better, get better grades, and have more fun at the same time. Another really big mistake that college students make is working too much. And this is one that I actually was very fortunate because I was able to avoid it. As soon as I started college, I was 24, so I was able to get financial aid. So I was able to go to college with student loans and free money from the government. So I finally finished paying back my loans. It took forever. It was not fun, but it worked for me. I was able to really focus on my studies, and it just really helped. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and get loans and all that stuff, but I'm saying is try to cut back on how much work you do. If you're working full-time, try to go to part-time. And if you're working part-time and it's interfering with your college studies, try to get a job that relates to the field you want to go into. If you want to go into computer science, try to get a job doing something related to computer science. If you want to go into education, maybe consider getting a job as a tutor. By working somewhere that aligns with your goals, it'll really help you keep you focused. Also, you really don't want to work full-time unless you have to. And I know this is not really good advice for some people. There's a lot of people in college who have full-time jobs, they have significant others, they might have kids, they have responsibilities. So it's just not possible to stop working and go to school. And I feel like every year there's more and more people like this. And there's nothing you can really do other than just take it slow. Maybe just take one class at a time if you're working full-time, 2 tops. It is really, really difficult to work and go to school. And I really don't know how people do it. I'm getting goosebumps. It is so difficult. I have done it. I have worked and gone to school and I struggled. So if you are one of those people who is working and going to school, props. Yeah, you're awesome. The third biggest mistake that college students make is not taking it seriously enough. It's really important to take it seriously. I used to always think about it like this. Let's say you're in a calculus class. This is the only time in your life that you're in calculus. This is it. 20 years from now, you will not be in your calculus class or whatever class you're taking. You will not be there. I mean, unless you drop the class or fail and then take it 20 years later. But for all practical purposes, this is it. All you have is right now. All you have is today. So make it count. You don't want to look back on this moment 20 years from now and say, oh, I should have done better. I really should have studied more. I should have listened to that random person on YouTube telling me to take it seriously. Take it seriously so you don't have regrets. Not only that, if you take it seriously, you're going to do better. You're going to learn more. You're going to get better grades. You're going to have a better experience. It's just better overall. So those are the 3 biggest mistakes that I see college students make every single semester. Every semester for years, I always have students who I feel are either taking too many classes, working too much, or just not taking it seriously enough. It gets really bad when you combine all of these things. And this does happen, right? You get people who are taking 6 classes, they're working a full-time job, they have tons of responsibilities outside of school, and then they decide not to take it seriously. Situations like that usually are not very good. So try to avoid those things. Remember, take less classes. If you take less classes, you can go slower, you can enjoy the experience, you'll learn more, and you can have more fun. If you're able to work less, that gives you more time to focus on your classes and more time to focus on fun and your personal relationships. And if you're not taking it seriously enough, start. Just start. It will make a big difference. You want to make it count. Remember, this is the only time in your life that you're in college. This is the only time. 30 years from now, you will not be in college. You want to look back and you want to say that you did the best you could. Make this a memorable experience. Good luck.